This is Crimson 60620. Thank you for watching my video. Also, you can catch me on these forums. And if you want to see some great art, hit my DeviantArt page up. Support my Patreon. Thanks. Alright guys, alright, what's up? Let me fix my camera just a little bit better. Oh, there we go. Alright, it's me, Crimson 60620, and I am here. I am fucking here. This wasn't as much of a stretch tonight. I got off, here's the thing, I only did 9 hours of work today. Woohoo. And I've actually been working on getting some cartoon avatars. So if you God, I guess it wouldn't be cartoon. I guess it'd be still picture. But I've been mostly doing some thinking about putting some avatars up where you guys will see me as an avatar for myself. I don't know. I haven't gotten it in my computer yet, but I'm gonna be working on that because sometimes I don't feel like getting pretty for the camera, but I'm always pretty. Anyway, what's up, guys? I feel proud of myself. I have literally done 3 straight days of doing the stream, and I'm almost on time today. Yeah, that is fucking awesome. Anyway, shit. Why do I have this up here so fucking high? There we go. Yeah. If you haven't seen it, guys, here, let me actually just put that in the chat right now. I want to say, thanks. As I do always at this time, guys. I want to actually drop that in chat. And thanks for watching. Hit that like and subscribe. And yeah, YouTube chat, it doesn't seem to be working. Fuck. Let me actually just do that right now. And for once, it doesn't seem like my stream is actually having issues. Wow. Yay. I know the open it always gives it fucking issues, but yeah. This is weird. Wow, okay. So I'm gonna do something a little bit different for me because, I am nominally a human, ninjin, immortal, whatever you guys like to call yourself. I call it a human. I'm sorry, I'm fucking crazy. Did it come up? Did this come up? Yay, it came up. Woohoo. Alright, cool. That is working. So yeah, woohoo! Oh, the stream has been awesome today. For real? Oh, I just have a sense that some shit like Murphy's Law for real though. But I'm gonna roll with it. Speaking of roll with it, I need some motherfucking power to my controller, and so seeing that this is a season of fucking giving and peace on earth and goodwill to men, I'm actually deciding to show some goodwill to somebody who's, and I'm actually not gonna be, I'm gonna be quite, what is the word that I'm looking for? Quite genuine. That's not genuine. I don't know. It's the word that you actually, that's not compassionate, but sincere. I'm going to be very sincere when I say this. Great. I forgot the word. I'm going to actually walk through a video of people that truly may have issues with finding a partner. That's a problem. It's something that we need to address. And so I'm going to actually go through this man's video. And trust me, guys, I am naturally an asshole, but I'm naturally going to make sure that I address this man's issue, and not in a sense of giving him advice, but actually talk through how somebody may naturally be hurting because, life has dealt them a bad hand. And by the way, since I'm doing FA and Incels, what I'm going to be doing today is looking for a fucking name armorer. Fucking need one. But, god damn it, that's what I forgot to do. I'm fucking thirsty. And do I got everything? Oh yeah, I was supposed to do that. Yeah, so come along and you'll see. Actually, before I start, let me just actually get me something to drink. So hold on, I'll be right back. Turn that off. Be right back, guys. Alright, I'll come back, guys. I'm coming back now. Shit. And video goes on to say what? Video goes on to say what? Alright, cool. I'm back. Alright, so pretty soon, and I want to actually talk about some format changes. Pretty soon, I may actually stop simulcasting to YouTube and actually put these in chunks on my YouTube channel. Cut it up. The thing that has to happen is I just better just get a better video card. But yeah, technology be costing money, yo. And I kind of recently got a ticket, but let's start. Let's start talking about this guy. I watched some of his videos, and like literally my heart went out for this guy because unlike other people who are quote unquote true sales, where they just may be just assholes, I really feel for this guy. And it's not in a sense of offering him pity or anything of that nature, because who needs pity when you're trying to actually connect and relate to people? Notice I said connect and relate, because this guy, from what I heard from his video, may actually have some true issues where he's trying to connect with people and he may have a hard time. And that shit is tough. Take it from somebody who has a hard time with connecting to people, which I admit some of it was actually toxic masculinity, where it was also performative, where I purposely pushed people away because I didn't want them to seem. I didn't want to seem like I needed somebody. Because if I didn't need anybody when they failed me or when they weren't there when I needed them, by simple fact of people have lives, then I don't have to blame anyone or get upset or stupid shit like that. And so I can actually get how it is to be alone. We all go through bouts where we just can't simply connect with people. And this isn't the usual mockery that I do of incels. This is actually addressing someone's pain and concern because we're all human and we all have issues where we need to connect and make sure that we feel validated. And we do is much, no matter how much self-love you have of yourself, you still need to reflect yourself off of somebody to know how valid you are. Now, the good thing is, it can be somebody who's incredibly helpful to you, incredibly edifying for your soul. That's what you always want. Sometimes it's bad people. But we're going to listen to this gentleman while he talks about how he's an incel and how he has issues. So let's begin.
Hey guys, I just thought I would make one more video about the subject I talked about last video. I'll upload it as soon as I can because it'll be a long video again. But I want to make this video now because I don't want to talk about this stuff too much.
Okay, so I did go through his channel and not to we had so much of a fun time with Brandio last night, and this is one of the videos that came up in the feed afterwards. But you can tell this guy, and he actually had made videos and vlogs about substance abuse issues. And goddamn, did I not put the camera back on? There we go. He's had these issues about substance abuse issues, and dude, you actually feel for somebody like this. Not in the sense, again, of pity, because nobody wants or needs your pity. People want your empathy and understanding. And it's tough. But let's continue.
It bothers me mentally, physically. It scares me to death and makes me very depressed. So I just have to get my mind off of it, or I would literally lose my mind and probably kill myself. It's also one of the reasons I stay gone a lot. I don't sit at home because I can't. But here we go. Alright. Guys, I've never really cared about getting married. By the way, I'm out here, I'll say real quick before I get started. I'm out here again in this spot. It's warm weather, and where the grocery store is, there's a McDonald's over. I don't know if you can see the arches. Tried to.
Alright, so let's just address one of the things before we proceed further. The need of actually being outside, being somewhere where he's not sitting at home. I can understand that need. Now, in no way am I able to minimize or say a direct comparison of how this gentleman actually is. And by the way, this was done in the middle of the summer. But sometimes you feel better not being isolated and alone. Even if you're outside, you have that capability of walking and meeting people. I mean, that's one of the main things that I do in the summer. Ride my bike. And even though I'm having very minimal interaction with people, it's still an interaction with people. It's still a hey, it's not being sit up in the house. That's why I fucking hate winter. It's not being locked up in a house and isolated from people. Yeah, no. Dude, and if it keeps you from self-harm, great. For real. as much as I give validity to somebody making decisions about how long they want to have continue their existence on Earth, if you don't want it, don't want to end your own existence on Earth, it's a different problem. It's a different issue. And dude, kudos to you for actually recognizing that you actually have issues that you want to actually address. Although I would also say that those issues you should actually be addressing in some sort of counseling way. But just going back from the history of your videos, I do know that those are some steps that you've actually taken in order to get some of the things that um, in order to try to, because you're trying to have an issue that you're trying to resolve by one way, it's obviously that just didn't, you're not just sitting back and living with your mental illness. That's the best way to say it. But let's continue.
Show you. But that's where I'm at. Thought I'd make this video real quick. But, I always said that I didn't want to get married. I wasn't against it when I was younger. I just didn't care anything about it. And I knew I wasn't ready for it. Of course, I wasn't financially able to do it. So that was partly why I didn't get married. And, of course, I look at what I've suffered in my life, and it's a good thing I didn't get married.
All right, so here's the thing. If you're somebody who feels your value, like, for real, we need to stop socializing people to believe that your only value is to get married and have kids. You're better than the reproductive juices that you can actually have. No matter whether you're male or female, you're better than those reproductive juices. Your purpose in life isn't just to make the next generation. Yes, of course, making the next generation, that's how we all got here. But there have been valid people who, even though they couldn't reproduce, even though they didn't have children, even though they were in a relationship style that didn't lend to children, they still have made profound benefits to society. That's just a fact that you can not be a reproducing member of society and still be to benefit from you. That's a thing. It happens. People are benefits to society no matter if they have kids or not. And another thing too, one of the things that kind of fucking kills me, and this whole belief, this romanticized belief of basically the romantic periods, like bastardization of what relationships are. You have to be married and you have to find that one true love. This is why I say fuck romanticism. Fuck romanticism, seriously. Fucking hate it. But let's continue.
And it's a good thing I didn't have children, because they would have been messed up and everything would have... I couldn't have forgiven myself, especially with my kids. If I'd have had children and they had been making sure they're closed. If I, had screwed those kids up, or I wouldn't have beaten the kids, obviously, but I'm talking about if I had messed them up mentally by me not either being there or me being so erratic from the problems I've had, I could never have lived with myself doing that, because I've had a hard enough life, and I'm kind of sometimes resent my father.
So I get the fear of not wanting to mess up kids' lives and shit like that. But I will say this. All childhood is fucked up. No matter if you have the best childhood, you're always going to be left with some mental scars from childhood. It's just a known thing. It's just something that happens because we human. Humans going human, and they're all gonna damage a kid in some kind of way. And I'm not, it is by degrees, and it's not, I'm not saying that, you know, you are going to horribly torture your kid, but it's going to be some adjustments because kids are just shitty adults that don't know better. So there are always going to be some issues that happen when it comes to kids. But I digress. Let's let this keep going.
And my mom sometimes. I resent both of them sometimes. So I'm thankful that I never did that to my kids. But, I mean, I think of everything I've been through. Autistic, severe OCD that kept me from being, I mean, autism kept me from having any kind of a career. That was why, before I became a Christian, I had no goals in life because I sucked at everything. I sucked at everything that was important. I sucked at everything that was easy, that most people would consider elementary type stuff. I sucked at all of them. I couldn't do them.
Okay, so this is one of my biggest critiques about society in general. And bear with me, I'm going somewhere here. I have an issue where people are told you have to fit in this fucking box where you have to conform to this standard of society, and if you don't, well, then you're just a horrible person. You're a good for nothing. You're a nothing. I have a fucking issue with that because, quite literally, it devalues people. Now, it also goes into some of the reasons why I do shit like this. Like, quite literally, I feel, in my opinion, that if things that I'm doing like now, if African Americans were more introduced to more of that, we would have a totally different situation. And I see that's what that is. And like, and it's not meant to say that, you know, black people would like be taking over streaming, but it's the belief that it's just not your place to do something that really fucking grinds my gears. It's that whole belief of, well, I don't fit this mold, like it must be something wrong with me, where quite literally it can be something going on with society. It can be something going on with the way people expect everybody to fit in this cookie cutter mold, where that's just not the case all the time. And quite frankly, I hope it's improving. I definitely hope it is improving. And to some extent it is improving. But it has to hurt people who don't conform and fit and can't fake it. Now, I, for a long time, just was like, I can't conform and can fit, but I'm going to fake it. I'm going to actually pretend to be something I'm not. And then that shit is more tiring. It takes more work than what a lot of people actually care to admit. And I was just like, fuck it. Let me just be myself. Which is kind of ironic because some of the people that are the closest to me, they are unaware of how radically different I am. I don't know. Not that I'm playing it up on the internet. It's just like previous like family members don't know the level or the extent that some of my friends know me as. I don't know. It's just that's just weird. But let's continue. Let's continue. And see, I've made it through this much without being why is it am I not streaming? I could have sworn I was streaming. Yeah, I am streaming. So anyway, let's go.
I had a hard time. I remember going into the, if you've ever done genealogy back years ago, I would go in there and study it, and you would get this microfilm, and you had to put the microfilm, you had to roll it out, you know, and put the microfilm on the little scan thing that would show the census files and all that stuff. I couldn't do it. Like, I'd try and I'd get it so screwed up, I almost tore it up one time. I thought, God, I don't want to get sued, so I never went back in and did it again. That's an example of what my life's always been like. And
Again, dog, it's okay. You don't have to be so hard on yourself because it's certain shit that certain people just don't get. Like, for real. I'm, like, I really feel for this guy because he actually feels that, he's a fuck up. Where it's just like, no, you're just human. Like, for real. Like, I don't know what else to say that would be different from that. But let's let him finish talking.
I couldn't play sports. I was too uncoordinated, and I was very weak physically, and I was naturally small. I was not a naturally big person, so I just that killed me.
Okay, again, dog, for real. I mean, like, I hate to like sound like a broken record, but it's cool. Like, it's okay. It's no one is actually being harmful to you about that. And if you if you can't make it with this shit, with sports or fitting in that mold, and I guess he comes from a generation that's a little bit past mine. Like, I went to the fucking nerdy school. I literally went to a school that was a Magna High School in Chicago, where you had to fucking had to be a certain level of proficiency to get into the school. Not much. It wasn't one of those schools, but it was just like, yeah, you were, and it was like a top school at the time. I don't know what the ranking is now, but it was definitely a top school at the time. And I don't know, but let's continue.
My drive. Well, I pretty much had no goals at that time as a kid. Anybody would ask me, what are you going to do one day? I don't know. Probably nothing. I didn't have any goals. I'd have probably just gotten a crummy job if that had been all that was wrong. Well,
okay, so I get it. I totally fucking get it. Like, I have no goals and aspirations, and I had none. But fuck, I to be honest with you, I'm trying to basically become like a video game streamer where I do this shit and you guys pay me. Like, for real, that's just my goal. And I just hate to say it like that, but it's like the corporate world isn't working for a lot of motherfucking people. The gig economy is a way of people getting fucked over and putting it at their personal responsibility. So yeah, no, fuck, I get it. I fucking understand. And I get that certain things aren't exactly the best. Like, I get it. It's just like, this is shit. This is why I wanted to be, a little bit more empathetic, because we don't want to make fun of somebody like this. And hopefully, I didn't watch the whole video through. Hopefully, he doesn't turn out to be an asshole like Monday Blue. But let's continue.
well, I didn't get accepted by people at all, so I quit. I just gave up on people. I got away from society for a long time. I withdrew and stayed to myself. I wasn't happy. Wasn't a good thing, but I did it all throughout my youth. I had very few friends. I had about 3 total that I would call friends. Really.
So you can actually see how you can see that he has kind of that aversion to calling, saying that he has a lot of friends and all this other good shit. And I fucking understand. This is the thing. I understand exactly what he's talking about and what he's going through, because for a time I was like this. Not to this extent, and I never had to be medicated, but I was an outsider at one time. But let's continue. Still kind of an outsider right now, but it's mostly self-imposed, and the people that come on my journey with me, they kind of like me for being weird and passionate and all drawn out. So shit, I guess that's a marketing for showing that, hey, shit can be better or different. But let's continue.
Only one that I'd say was a true friend for a period of time but I guess you could call them friends. Well, after that, I became a Christian. I was searching for something in my life, trying to find something. I was lost. I was depressed, and I had no point. I was kind of suicidal at that time.
Yeah.
My first suicidal tendencies came at...
What's up, Hydro Bowl? Thank you for
first suicidal
subscribing.
tendencies came at about 14 years old. I wouldn't have done it, but it was definitely the first time.
So, the fact that he mentioned that his first suicidal tendency was at 14 years old, that is heartbreaking. Now, at 14 years old, I was thinking about shit that normally pops off for a guy at 14 years old. Damn it, was I even at... I was still in high school, but in high school I met some great people just by pure chance. And, like, sad to say, some of this shit that actually would help people happens because of pure chance. And yes, you may have the deck stacked against you because you may have some undefined mental illness, and I'm sorry for that. And it's not even a but to that. I am sorry that some people have undefined mental illnesses. If you feel like you have to self-harm or want to completely take yourself out at 14 years old, that's definitely something that you'd actually see some counseling for. But let's continue.
To where I just thought, man, I don't really want to be alive anymore. There's really nothing here for me. And then at 15, I became a Christian. I had somebody point me to Christ at the time. I studied, and I became a very serious Christian. I mean, I was serious about it.
So, one of the benefits of having an organized religion is that it does help, pull you from dark places. But it also introduces a lot of shame that can take you back to those dark places. And this is not one of those tit for tat, like both sides of the argument thing. It's just one of those things where it's just like, I wish the acceptance would have actually came from actually finding value in yourself, where you would convince yourself of not doing self-harm because you had real values of how much your value to yourself was. But that's okay. That's okay. I'm not gonna sit back and say somebody's what they're using to make sure that they keep their head in the game is bad. I'm just gonna offer some other ideas. But let's continue.
I went through a little bit of a lapse, and then, buddy, after that, I really focused, and I got baptized. I was a member, and still am, member of what is called the Churches of Christ. So if you don't know what that is, look it up. You can look it up on Wikipedia and type in Restoration Movement if you want to look it up. That'll give you a good idea of what we are and what we believe. But and I believe it's the true church, but I ain't gonna get into that in this video.
Okay, so how do I say this? I'm concerned that is, again, that may be a dangerous path to go down. I never want to actually say that, again, religions can actually do some great things for people. It can give them a focus or what they perceive is the meaning of life, a purpose in life. But it is so susceptible to corruption of people who want power and want to keep their power in order to feel some sort of importance. And that's one of the main reasons why I, quote unquote, left religion. Because I had a situation where I saw somebody in church leadership, they were literally abusing their power. And it wasn't a thing that I could find that I could stand behind. But let's continue.
But I became a serious Christian at that time. That ended adolescence for me. Like all the sports watching I did back then. I was a typical kid, watching sports. I bought sports books. because I was not a nerd. Not that I had anything against it. It just wasn't what I did. There was nobody around me that did that here. You didn't have Pokemon. You didn't have all that kind of stuff, and Dungeons and Dragons and all that stuff. And so I was not a nerd. I was not into the nerdy things. But then when that happened, I gave up the sports practically for about a year. And, when you're a kid, a year's a long time. A year, I didn't even watch.
Okay, I thought that was some kind of fucked up ass animal, but it's that. But what kind of it alarms me is that he is saying that he gave up some enjoyment from sports because he needed to compensate as a Christian for the things that he believed. Yeah, that's not a ringing endorsement for Christianity. I'm gonna say that, but let's continue.
Didn't even watch sports. I gave all that up, and I became a serious Christian. I studied the Bible diligently. The first time I'd ever really read any books. Reading was not something that was hard for me, but I was definitely not great at it. But I didn't have a severe, disability in it or anything. I could get up in front of people and read. And I wasn't slow or, like that. So I did that, and then I, of course, delved into the Bible, and it changed my life. I became a very serious Christian, and I really didn't worry about life at that time. I truly believed the world was going to end. I got involved in sort of the rapture, Armageddon stuff, which was silly, but...
So he makes a point faster than I could. The fact that you feel good about your religion because the world is going to pay for what they did to me, or the world is going to pay for how wicked and unrighteous everything is, which is really low key that I deserve better than what I'm getting, and so because I'm not deserving better, we're gonna wipe out the system. That's the type of shit that G-Man actually thinks, like for real. And I'm glad he refuted it as soon as it came out of his mouth, because that's some next level G-Man type shit. But let's continue.
I didn't understand it at the time. And I thought the world's going to end. And then, bam. That was when the OCD hit. And it almost drove me crazy. I couldn't read things. I couldn't do anything without having obsessively horrible thoughts. And as a Christian, and you're not supposed to be thinking these things, like I would think of a naked woman and her breasts, like a bare breast. And I wasn't trying to think it.
That just means that, dog, you're a sexual person. It's okay. It's okay to be a sexual person. And I don't know if, you actually determine, like, why would you dream of, and I'm a fucking artist, and I still just couldn't just come up with a idea of a naked woman. And shit, some of my most recent drawings were actually based off of shit. Were actually based off of how a woman would look. Like, seriously. My most recent drawings was just like, hey, I want to see a naked woman, and then I drew them with clothes on, basically. Not much, but, it's okay to be a sexual being. Just don't be controlled by the shit. But let's continue.
You can look up OCD. It's not like I was some depraved guy watching porn all day. I really didn't do that stuff much. I think I did that every once in a while, and then eventually I stopped completely. But I would do things like that, constantly thinking cuss words, the filthiest of words, and it would spell it out like, it would literally, like I was on a chalkboard, and the chalkboard was slowly, it was torture, man.
So it sounds as if you may have issues where you are feeling shame for just not being able to enjoy yourself like you are and what you need. Like, yeah, that was to be a problem, especially Even if you weren't religious, that would be a problem. But let's continue.
And if you're somebody trying to live a moral life, it was torture to me. It would be like if you couldn't stand thinking about blood and all you kept thinking about was blood gushing everywhere or something like that.
It's almost as if you're focused so much not to think about the thing. You telling yourself, I'm not thinking about, Apple. I'm not thinking about Apple. I'm not thinking about Apple. You start thinking about Apple that you're not supposed to be thinking about. And I know it seems weird that I'm saying it like this, but that's what it sounds like. It sounds as if it's more along the lines of I'm trying to, like, what was it? Conversion therapy, pray the gay away. And I'm not saying that's what he is. I'm just saying the more you think to actually fight it, the more you're actually just bringing credence to the response of it. But let's continue.
A body exploding or something like that. It was just horrible. And it tormented me. I almost committed suicide because it was so bad. Didn't know what caused it, never knew. So there went the Christian thing. I suffered it, and I kept going to church, and I suffered it for years. Hiding it from people, tried to deal with it. Every time I'd talk to somebody about it, oh, it's just the devil. Oh, he's just tempting you. Oh, I can't stop doing it, And now...
This is the problem with... demonizing such natural things as sex and attraction and different things such as this, which comes natural. No chemical booster needed. But let's continue.
That was when a couple of years later, after I got out of high school, my senior year was misery. It was that OCD. It was just tormenting me every single day. And I finally got out of school. I wanted to go to college. Couldn't get in because I didn't pass all of what is known as the exit exam. And couldn't pass the exit exam in math. I passed everything else.
Again, no one is making fun of you with this. It literally sounds like you just are somebody who was different, who thought different, who perceived things different. It's okay. It's okay to feel that way because a lot of people do. So let's continue.
But the math part, well, it was at an 8th grade level. I always struggled with math. I was terrible at math. And social skills were terrible. I mean, it was all of it, And I never passed it. Well, I tried to go to college. That wouldn't let me go. Oh, you can't go. Even to a community college. I couldn't do anything, I kept trying to pass the test. I went back several times. I couldn't pass it. I got very discouraged and I quit. I just gave up. I got so depressed. I mean, I went through deep depression at that time.
And I understand why. If you can't pass the test where they say everybody should be able to pass, and you don't, like, that is fucking heartbreaking. Because the only thing it does is just reinforce your belief that you may not be worthy of, the same requirements of humanity and compassion that everybody else gets. But let's continue.
And I can remember I went to a Christian university, which would have costed me $3,000 a semester, it turned out. Just wonderful, right? I remember...
The cost of fucking education is shit horrible. And you would think Christian University, Christian trying to make their way in life, and they still are fucking taking money out of just left and right to be able to give the gift of teaching. But capitalists got a capital, right?
Going there to study that. And I took the philosophy and theology test they gave you. I did so well on it. Now, I was only about 19 years old at the time. And I did.
Jill, this isn't the video, dog. This is not the video for you to be talking this shit. Now, I normally joke about you being a Sandra and all this other good bullshit, but please just watch the video. Please not leave comments kicking somebody else down. Because if somebody was to kick you down in your shitty ass, fake ass life that you claim to be one way or the other, you would have a fucking issue. So I implore you, this isn't the video, dog. Because say whatever the fuck you want about atheists and how people who are non-believers are shit people. I will be a shit person when I am committed towards motherfucking making sure that we address somebody's concern and human fucking suffering. I am fucking committed to be every bit of the monster. I don't care if you're whatever religion you is. If you're hurting and you need fucking help, I will fucking defend you like a rabid dog. And if you come in my chat being shitty to a fellow Christian who needs help, that only reflects how great Christianity is, doesn't it, Jill? But let's continue.
Did so well on it that they actually thought that I had done. They were surprised because I looked so young for my age back then. I looked like I was like 14 years old when I was 19, and they were like, "Have you been to college before?" You know, and I was like, "No, I've never gone," because they were amazed at how smart I was, how knowledgeable I was, because I.
So again, this is one of those things where it's just like it just seems as if it's a belief that because everybody doesn't fit a specific mold, then the people who don't fit the mold have some sort of issues or something of that nature. Where that's just not the case. These people just may be different. Well, let's continue.
I read all those things in school. Christianity opened everything to me. I wanted to learn everything, and I studied Lincoln. I studied philosophy. Abraham Lincoln, I'm talking about. I studied philosophy. I studied U.S. history. I studied everything. And I was very knowledgeable of those things at that time. And but I couldn't go because I didn't pass all the tests, and we didn't have the money to go, and I couldn't get the money or funding to go. I might could have. I didn't know as well. The knowledge of that stuff just wasn't as good back then. The internet was still in its infancy. I didn't even have the internet because Mom wouldn't get it back then. Well, I gave up on that idea. I finally went to a community college. I was destined. This was about. I'm talking about my college thinking now. Well, after that, I got so discouraged that I just almost gave up. But I went one more time to a community college in my area. I thought, well, let me just do something, right? And I was going to go there. I knew I could get the funding. I could get some help. I didn't know about all the disabilities. I didn't know anything at that time. I didn't even know I was autistic at the time.
So, undiagnosed mental health is a big fucking problem for people. Also, and this is just like me being... Wait, what? Jill, shut the fuck up, dude. I am literally making a video talking about how people should have more compassion, and you're having this fucking conversation with me about how I'm being selective. Me being selective about who I show compassion to. Me, the person who makes fun of fucking incels on a regular. Dude, shut the fuck up. Seriously. And I'm not even triggered. It's just like, why are you being such an asshole? You sound like an asshole. But let's continue. Um, let's just talk about this. One, $3,000 for. That's still a fucking lot of money if you don't have the money. It's a lot, and the fact that he didn't know some of the shit that he would qualify for, even though he had this disability and all this undiagnosed mental health shit that's going on. It's damn it. That shit is tough. But let's continue.
Because nobody helped us. Nobody did anything in this area. It was such a small town. Nobody knew anything, and we're all supposed to be normal, and you're all supposed to be okay.
So this whole idea, this whole concept of pick yourself up by the bootstraps, is not just harmful to African Americans. It's harmful for the people who actually have the whole belief that they're better than that. They should need help. That shit is harmful to everyone. It is harmful to fucking everyone. We all need help. We all need to have fucking help from our fucking friends. Like, seriously. And the fact that these programs are in place, it should bring more awareness to the fact that people need fucking help. And I'm sorry. Like, this shit is for real. Okay. Okay, shit. Now, hold on. Getting my ass kicked. Damn it. Fuck. But let's continue.
I went to a community college, and I remember they said, I told them I didn't pass all that test.
You know what, Jill? So, with you being a teacher, and I'm gonna actually address this. This should be fun. This is actually gonna be awesome. With you being a teacher, with you thinking that there are so many problems that are happening, and black people are getting fucking head, I welcome you to join me on Bernie Sanders' campaign belief that there should be free state colleges. No. I did not want to be here. Free state college for, trade school and state universities for all people. That should be something that we can all stand with and for for everyone. That's something that we should all go for. So yeah, if you want to stand with me, if you want to say that a certain group of people should actually have certain protections, I will agree with you. I think the certain group of people would be all Americans. And you know what? People who want to actually join the greatness of our country. Because if our country can't stand against this whole belief that, oh shit, where am I at? Damn it. I should have went back to my base because I have a small base out there. But let's continue.
They found that out, and I was like, well, can I come to school here? Oh, yeah, you can go take the classes, but you won't get a degree. Well, then what's the point? Why would I waste my time and my money going and doing that if you're not going to get anything? They're not going to hire you just because you walked in a classroom. And And I remember my mom was like, well, you should just do it. And I'm like, oh, for what? Waste my time? And, I was still kind of young back then, too, like 20, 21 years old. And, so I just said, hell with this. And I didn't walk out, but we left that day. And I just gave up on those thoughts. And a year later is when I had the severe insomnia. Could not sleep for about a week or two. Couldn't sleep. Literally could not sleep. Like maybe an hour, maybe. I was so sick.
Shit.
And that was when I went to one doctor. He gave me pills. They didn't work. And I went to another doctor finally. And I remember that's when he gave me Zoloft, 50 milligrams. That was the end of my life. How could I have known? I couldn't have. And I took the 50 milligrams for about 7 years. It took me a year and a half, almost 2 years to get my...
So, I'm not going to make fun of someone actually having to take, prescription drugs for needs of, making sure they may have mental health. Now, do we know the extent of all of those drugs, that what happens with those drugs? No, we don't. And I need to get to my body quick. Should there be more testing and more things where we actually know the interactions of those drugs? Yeah, of course. But sometimes some people need, counseling. Sometimes they need other things that actually makes them just better. Is it, that's why they say ask your doctor which is right for you. And it isn't just some fucking slogan. It is something that most people should actually address, because mental illness is a thing, especially in the U.S. But let's continue.
Sleep right back then. And I will never forget, because my sister was living with me at the time with her boyfriend. Well, anybody that knows about my sister and her life, go back and watch. She's definitely what the manosphere talks about. Well, her and her boyfriend traipsing in at all hours of the night, waking me up because I slept on the couch. I was very terrified about sleeping in the bed. Back then, I never talk about this to anybody. And they'd barge in, bang, wake me up. And I had trouble sleeping until finally she left, and that was when it finally started getting better in about 2004, 2005. And I was like that for a while. My life wasn't great, but I was content for several years, about 3 years. And I remember in the back of my head, I kept thinking, my life wasn't great. There wasn't anything good about it, but I was content. I was okay. And I'll never forget, I thought something bad's going to happen. Something bad's going to happen. And it did. That's what happened. It was coming off the medication. I'm not going to talk about that for this video, but and I think I will talk about it for a few minutes. Whatever. So,
instability in living arrangements, be it even if it was his home that he was, people have issues with stability sometimes. I live by myself, and I still find it difficult at times to, kind of, I don't know what's the best way to say it, peace is a big thing, and I guess the best way to say it is, when you're going through illnesses and going through tough times, stability is a thing that can actually affect, how you cope with shit. And yeah, like, shit, damn, I know how. And then plus being on, mental health drugs, that also can affect a lot of shit. But let me let him continue his story.
Whatever. Why not? When I decided to come off, I was really ready to start my life. I was 28 years old. I was nearing my 29th birthday. I was 28. It was right after Barack Obama got elected president. It wasn't long after. That's how I remember it. He had just gotten elected. I watched the election and everything. And I can remember because my aunt was sick with cancer. And I certainly wasn't going to come off the medication or anything. You know, I didn't know anything about withdrawal, which is amazing. Thank God I didn't come off during that time, because my aunt had a rough death, dying of cancer. Well, she passed away. And I can remember, after all that and Obama's election in 2008, I said, well, I need to get off this drug. I need to start my life now. I need to learn how to drive, because I never learned how to drive. I was terrified to learn. Whenever I got in the car with my mom, she would drive me crazy. And, you know, going nuts. And I had a wreck one time when I was trying to learn to drive.
Damn, that's fucking stressful. You actually have a wreck while you're trying to learn how to drive? That shit is stressful. I mean, like, I had just got my license and actually got into an accident, and that shit was stressful. And I can only imagine how it would be, especially going through, you know, shit where it's come on. Going through shit where it is harmful to your health, and like getting into an accident when you're trying to learn independence. God damn, I don't even know like how that would actually. I don't know how I would cope with shit like that, like for real. Well, let's continue.
I may mention that in a video sometime. But I had never learned to drive. I was going to do all that. Try to get learn to drive, probably learn to drive, and probably just try to get married maybe one day, because my life was a mess. The whole idea of being a minister was gone. That was a dead end. I had done quit church by that point, because by then I was having what was known as withdrawal from the medication, even though I was still on it, because I was starting to have the horrible floaters. I was starting to have the severe anxiety and the severe OCD.
So, and look, this is one of the things about being so caught up in religion that I see as a bad thing, to me personally. The whole thing about having to, you know, live up to a standard where, you know, you actually have this whole thing where you have I just like, oh God, like you have this unwinnable standard of being perfect or having a I don't know what's the best way to say it, but it's just like you have a feeling that you have to live up to this unwinnable standard, and you can't really. You have to actually just be this perfect, unmovable thing, and it's just like, no, it's a standard where most people can't actually live or achieve, and it's okay if you can't, because no one can. But it's almost a sense of shaming that some of these people have to live with. But let's continue.
So I quit going to church. Well, I can remember when I quit, I just decided to cold turkey. You know, I didn't know any better. I didn't even know what drug withdrawal was. I had never drank. I'd never done illegal drugs or anything in my life other than those pills. And I remember when I quit, I thought I'm going to give it about 2 months because I had finally read online, I had the internet by then, that I had read that withdrawal could be about 2 weeks. So I thought, well, I don't want to jump in and try to get a job and I'm all screwed up, you know.
Damn, like, and it is fucked up that some of these things that people go through with as far as withdrawal actually happen this way, because when you're on these drugs, wait, where's my sword? No. Please. I lost my sword. Fuck. Let's continue. But when you're on these drugs and it actually hits you the way some of these drugs hit you, man, that's got to be tough. But let's continue.
You know. And I can remember quitting, and I thought I'll give it about 2 months total, and then I'll start trying to look for stuff, make sure this is all good and everything's cleared out. And bam! I remember within 2 days of quitting, it got so bad. Symptoms were so bad. I had at least 30 symptoms. Mental symptoms, psychological symptoms, extreme fear. I could not calm down. It was like I was in terror all the time. I kept thinking everybody was going to die or everybody was going to leave me. I remember not being able to sleep for days and days at a time. I can remember having horrible teeth pain all over, losing teeth. I remember crying spells for no reason. I wasn't happy. I wasn't sad. It was nothing. I'd just be sitting there and I'd just, just start crying out of nowhere. It was so bizarre. And it was just, which I didn't know at the time, my nervous system was out of whack. And I, of course, didn't know that.
So, in as much as, like, dude, I fucking feel for him. And maybe it's a thing where these I don't know what they fucking call, but maybe some of these drugs weren't from him, or they should have actually changed the drugs that they gave him. And shit, like I will never just say that people shouldn't take these prescription medications, but damn. And this is a completely different topic from what he started with, but dude, I feel for this guy. And again, it's not a pity, but just like if I had this shit happen to me while I'm going through this shit, I would have a fucking issue. But let's continue.
Well, there went that opportunity to do something with my life. Once again, there you go. That took years to get over. I kept getting back on the drug, getting off the drug, because I didn't know about withdrawal. I'd quit, and of course what I was doing unknowingly was kindling myself. I, of course, didn't know that. And I would get new symptoms, eye vision problems, having that now. Vision problems, emotional problems, severe electrical pains. It was so bad, man. Jaw pain, horrible twitching and jerking. This lasted days and days and weeks and weeks and months and months. It was so horrible. And I finally just stayed off for good, and man, did I suffer. 3 years of hell. And by the 4th year, things had started getting better. But I had lost at least 4 years again.
So, like, he's winding this video down, and, like, this isn't a video of me making fun or saying, whoa, is this cat? Like, no. I really like hearing people's stories, so I can understand. And I don't know, like one of the things that I would maybe suggest, and maybe he's actually done this. One of the things that I would maybe suggest is the fact that instead of bringing yourself down off of these drugs, maybe just maybe also see a doctor. I know a lot of people have mistrust in the doctors, especially if they put them in situations such as this, where they are actually having to be, put on these different drugs that have adverse side effects. They do. But let's let them finish it out.
I was about 33 years old, and you kind of get the story of how bad everything's been for me. And now, guys, I worry about. I'll mention it in the next video.
All right. Let's stop this. All right. So, what do we learn from this video? What are we gonna really say about this video? One, this isn't some just that story about what was going on and some of the undiagnosed mental problems. I'm gonna reserve my incredible sense of hatred for self-entitled little pricks like Brandio yesterday, who feel that the world owes them something. But this is literally somebody who's going through some shit. And I'm sorry, I can't be that asshole to say that, I fucking understand. Not everybody has the same, I wouldn't even say mental strength, but not everybody has the same tenacity to do things like others do. Like, when I say, let me see. When I say that, let me see. When I say that, okay, cool, it may actually still be there. That these people have issues that they need to address. Fuck yeah, they do. And for people to actually downplay the pain that they may be going to just to win some points on the board, it's disgusting. Now, I'm sorry, Cumber 69. I apologize if I didn't see your chat at first. But yeah, what's up, man? What's up, man? What's up, Michael? I'm sorry, I'm playing a game and I'm responding to this shit. I do apologize if I missed your chats. And I'm actually gonna do a video one time, guys. I'm just going through and I'm actually sitting in front of the camera and reading the chats. So I don't know. I'm actively going to. I'm gonna go for the night. It's about 9 o'clock, and I want to actually take some time and get some rest tonight. And I want to thank everybody who's watched. I want to thank everybody who's enjoyed the stream. If you have any other questions, hit me up on my YouTube channel, my Twitch channel. Leave me a message. Let's address these questions in the comment section, in the chat section. And you can find me on my Twitter, which is Crimson60620. If you have any other questions, guys, hit me up, and thank you for watching. Peace.